Hey, we back. I'm here, actually not on Discord for once, we're on Chrome today, and that's because despite the fact that we talk about Discord quite a lot on the channel, I've never really given my opinions on which ones are better or worse, and so I figured what a fun idea than to do a very stereotypical and not hip and cool video, which is a tier list. Oh my god, how many tier lists already exist on YouTube? It's far too many, but hey, it doesn't hurt to add one more, and despite having thought of this idea maybe a couple of weeks ago, someone actually pretty much asked for it a few days ago, which is epic and hilarious, so that definitely gives me even more incentive to do one of these. So yeah, I'm pretty much just going to go through all these bots here. There's a lot that we've talked about, there's even more that we haven't talked about, and disclaimer, there's some of them that I haven't used a whole lot, and so will not be able to give insanely cool opinions on, but I'll try and say something at least intelligible for each one and put it somewhere nice on the tier list. Also, they're in alphabetical order because that's how it works. And so we're just going to add them in that order. So let's get started. Also, I have no idea how long this is going to take. I added quite a few bots, so we'll just see what happens. We'll start with Arcane. Arcane is basically rip-off Me6, not gonna lie. It does leveling with a reasonably different curve to something like Me6, so you quite easily find people a lot higher leveled, but basically it's just a Me6 alternative. On the other hand, Me6 is an insanely good bot. That's definitely going to go high up on the tier list when we get to it. So we can put Arcane up reasonably high. Paint bucket tier symbol is not bad. I'm going to put that middle of the road B tier for now, because it's a pretty good bot, but on the other hand, I don't know anything that it can do that Me6 can't, so there you go. Next we have Owobot. Owobot, the worse Owobot. Obviously, this is basically Osu tracking and stuff. If you're a big Osu player, you've probably seen this bot around. To be fair, it's not bad. I don't have anything against it as a bot. It's very specialized, and to be fair, that's probably good for a bot, because a lot of these general purpose ones are going to be stepping on each other's toes and therefore not used as much. I'm going to be rating them lower because of that. So it's certainly not the worst ever, but honestly, just because it stole Owobot's name, I'm going to rate it quite low. We're going to put this one in C tier, just because it's not the original Owobot. It's not the best Owobot. You can't beat Owobot, so there you go. Next we have Botbot. Botbot, as you can see by the little notes here, is for music, among other things. Its use went up considerably after the music bot ban, because I think it successfully avoided that one, which is pretty cool. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it still works for music, so that's pretty nice. Other than that, it's just a bit of a general purpose bot. It's not bad. I don't have anything against it. It can go in the middle there with everything else. Now we have Boxbot. Boxbot's actually pretty cool. Boxbot I haven't used in a long time, and it's probably improved a lot since then, but I used to use it a long time ago, back in like 2018, 2019, something like that. So it's a pretty old bot, and its economy is reasonably cool. As you can imagine, it's basically like loot boxes and stuff, but it's actually a pretty nice bot, honestly. You may be surprised, but I'm gonna pop that into A tier. I would recommend having a look at it at some point. It's not the best bot out there, it's definitely not the top of A tier, but yeah, it's actually not a bad bot. Then we have Carlbot. Carlbot is one of those general purpose ones, but it actually does a lot of stuff that other bots don't. You'll probably see Carlbot used quite a lot. Plus, profile picture, pretty epic. For instance, I think it's the stereotypical starboard bot. A lot of servers use this bot for starboard stuff, which is pretty nice. And so, because it's pretty much the only general purpose, or at least only popular general purpose bot that is used for starboard, I'm going to be putting it quite highly just because of that, honestly, and because of the cool profile picture. So I'm going to pop Carlbot into A tier. We have Dadbot. Dadbot is basically a meme. It is literally a meme. It probably does other things, but it basically just responds, "Hi, I'm Dad," to like random messages, but that's quite funny, and I quite enjoy it. It's not worth adding to a server, would not recommend, but periodically it is reasonably funny, and just because of that, I'm putting it all the way into S tier. It's not legitimately a good bot, but it is funny to put it in S tier because it is Dadbot, and you can't take that away from me. Right, then we have Dank Mima. Now, Dank Mima itself is not a bad bot. I don't have anything against Dank Mima. Its economy is a bit scuffed. The whole bot is a bit scuffed, but that's because it's Dank Mima. It has a Pepe picture, so it's gonna be a bit scuffed. However, its community is awful. I'm not gonna lie, worst community ever any bot has ever. Would not recommend adding it to your server because it's just gonna get cursed. It's gonna get argumentative, I feel like. I don't know, I don't add this to any of my servers, at least not anymore, and I don't know if I will be in the future, just because of the community really. But the bot itself is not bad, so I'm going to put it into B tier with those other ones there, because yeah, it's fine. Then we have Dino. Dino is one of the best general purpose ones. I know I said I'm rating general purpose ones lower because they step on each other's toes, but Dino is another exception to that, along with Garbot. Dino has a lot of features that other bots don't have, and because it's so well polished, most of the features that it does have in similarity with other bots are normally better on Dino. Dino is usually my primary moderating bot, because it just works, you know? It does good stuff. So I'm putting this in A tier. It's not going in S tier, just because at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't have anything super cool and unique to it. I don't think that's good enough for an S tier, but it's certainly good. Then we have Epic RPG. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't know a huge amount about this, but it's well used, so you can generally assume that the game it has is pretty good, and its game, obviously, is an RPG game. So I have nothing against that. If the game's cool, then it's a cool bot, you know, whatever. But I don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm going to put it into B tier and let you discover for yourself, I guess, what the bot is all about. But I've seen people using the game, and it looks well done, so there's certainly no complaining there. Then we have Giveaway Bot. Now, Giveaway Bot is, as you can imagine, pretty good for servers that want to do giveaways. That's pretty much all it's good for, and I don't know if I like the idea of giveaways as a whole, really. I like having competitions with prizes, that's certainly worth doing, but just the kind of giveaways where it's just like, oh yeah, click this one reaction button and we'll give you free stuff maybe. I feel like you're pretty much just paying people to join servers at that point, and to be fair, that is exactly what they are doing. Servers that have regular like Nitro giveaways and stuff are pretty much just paying to keep their members from leaving, which I'm not down for. I don't think that's very legitimate. I don't see the point in having giveaways just to keep members around, but there are absolutely legitimate uses for Giveaway Bot. It wouldn't be fair to put it down in D tier, so we're going to put it in C tier with Bot here, just because I don't really like the idea, but it's not bad. Now we have Groovy. I honestly can't remember if Groovy lost its music abilities or not. I don't think it did, but it might have done. I don't know. Either way, it was a bit of a replacement rhythm for a bit, and along with Bot, I feel like it did lose its music stuff though. Actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. So this bot's kind of dead now. Sorry, Groovy. But while it was working, it was fine. It was the biggest contender to Rhythm, I would say, and it was doing a good job. So I'm going to put it in B tier. I'm just going to put it slightly below Bot because at least Bot continued working, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, there you go. And then we have HackyBot, for some reason with, I believe, a Volcarona profile picture, which is weird. HackyBot is basically an bot, the actual bot. Like tracking and stuff. It's pretty nice. It's well used among big servers, so there's certainly nothing against that. But at the end of the day, it's just a helper bot for a larger, better bot, so I can't rate it that highly. But yeah, certainly worth having if you do have bot in your server. I would recommend having HackyBot. So we're going to put this in A tier, the bottom of A tier, but we're going to put it there because it's good. Next we've got Karuta. Now if you've been looking at my channel recently, you know how much I've been using Karuta. It's a pretty good bot, what can I say? I don't know if I would rate it higher or lower than MyDay. I guess we'll get to that when we get over here. But it's certainly good, and when you're comparing something to MyDay, it's already good. The economy is very unique, actually acts like a proper stock market, which is pretty impressive. and the community is actually pretty good. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of scammers out there, but that's going to be the case with any bot. The majority of people on Karuta are pretty nice, actually. Would recommend. So this bot's going straight to the top S tier, just because it's a really good bot, honestly. I'm certainly enjoying it. Next we have Kaching, which again is a helper bot. It's a helper bot for Karuta this time. And again, it's pretty good. I pretty much explained my opinion on HackyBot, and Kaching is just going to be the same. So I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it above HackyBot just because the profile picture's better, and also this is actually a picture of the character that the bot's named after, whereas this is a Pokemon and I don't understand it. But that's honestly it. Both of them are just excellent helper bots for the bots that they're helping. Next we have NotBot. Now, NotBot is a pretty small bot that probably most people haven't heard of, most people don't play. It's very similar to OwoBot, which again, we'll get to later when we get to OwoBot. But it does have a lot of its own unique features, which is pretty cool. It's certainly steering away from OwoBot. I know the owner, Tog, kind of wants it not to be an OwoBot copy, which is perfectly respectable. And he's doing a good job of it. At the end of the day, though, NotBot still has a lot of problems, and I mean a lot of problems. Most bots will, but because it's just the one guy making it, it does have quite a few problems, and its balance is pretty bad, to be honest. It's not awful, for sure, but honestly, the balance could do with some tweaks, and while this is obviously opinionated, so is a tier list. So I'm not putting NotBot in S tier. But honestly, it's not a bad bot, and it's not a bad bot. You get it, because it's not a okay. So I'm gonna put this one in A tier. I'll put it above the helper bots there, because it is its own bot. But at the end of the day, it is very much similar to OwoBot. So yeah, there you go. Then we have KoiBot, which is another helper bot. This is a Karuta helper bot, and it helps with the dates, auto-solving the dates, which is pretty nice. It's a good quality of life thing, saves you a bit of time, but at the end of the day, I feel like it kind of ruins the fun a bit. I actually don't have this bot on my server. I'll probably add it at some point, but for now, it's not there. Now, I want to keep it that way for a little bit longer, just because, like I say, it kind of ruins the fun a little bit. KoiBot is helpful, there's no denying that. And it's good for saving you a bit of time, but that's about it really. It doesn't do a whole lot, so I'm going to put this one into B tier. I'm going to put it there under the music bots, because it's all right, but that's about it. Then we have Mantaro. Mantaro is again a pretty old bot. It's got a nice economy, it's got a couple of small games, it's a bit of a general purpose bot again, but because it's one of those old bots, old-fashioned bots, it's kind of been left behind, I feel. But the modern bots do its job better than it does, so not many people use Mantaro anymore, but it's also in a lot of servers just because it used to be one of the best bots, so it's just kind of middle ground there, and because of that, I'm going to put it in B tier, but I'm going to put it near the top of B tier because it used to be a really good bot for sure, and most servers that I knew at least had it. Now we have MarriageBot, and honestly, I just don't get the point in MarriageBot. I mean, it's a bit of a game, but it doesn't have any game aspects really. It just keeping track of arbitrary things that change all the time. People enjoy it, but basically, if you don't know, MarriageBot is just a way for you to marry people on Discord and store a tree. That's all it does really. Stores a family tree, and that's pretty much all it does. I feel like the bot's a bit useless. It's a bit of a gimmick. I'm not a fan. So this is going to be our first D tier of the day. I don't like MarriageBot. I don't see its point. I am not going to be adding it to any servers anytime soon. Now we have Me6. Again, it's a general purpose bot and it is amazing. I already said that it is a better version of Arcane, and I put Arcane in B tier, so it's going higher than that. But Me6, it gets a lot of hate. A lot of people hate Me6 because it's everywhere, it seems overpopular, but I don't think it is. It's consistently, since it was created, which was a long time ago at this point, it's one of the older bots on Discord, it's been consistently one of the best. It's one of the most used bots on Discord. It does its job really well as a general purpose bot. It can rival Dino in moderating, but it's not a moderating styled bot. It has a lot of other things like Arcane's levels and all the rest of it. And so I'm putting Me6 into S tier. In fact, you know what? It can beat Dadbot. It can beat Dadbot because Me6, for all the hate it gets, does a really good job. It helps out a lot of servers. And realistically, if you were in a small server, you could quite easily get by with Me6 being your only general purpose bot. I don't think you'd struggle with that at all. Especially if you go for Me6 Premium, it has even more features. If there was ever a bot premium that I would consider buying, it probably would be Me6 Premium, just because it has so much stuff. Like I say, it can rival Dino moderating. It can rival these music bots. I use it for a music bot on my server, for instance. It's just really good. So yeah, there you go. Next we have Menhera-chan. Menhera-chan is, to be fair, basically just a custom bot. It's a general purpose bot. It's got a lot of stuff, to be fair, like it can do Starboard, same as Carl, which is quite impressive. Like I said, that's a feature that many bots have for some reason. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a general purpose bot, and the only reason it's here is because Menhera-chan is pretty cute. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one in B tier. We'll put it here. Just splitting up Epic RPG and Dank Mima, because obviously there needs to be a little difference between those two. Now we have Mirai. Mirai, same deal as Menhera really. To be fair, this is actually a global bot rather than Menhera being custom. But again, it's just general purpose, and she's here because I've used her a couple of times, and Mirai is a cute character, so there you go. She's just kind of here. I'm going to put her a little bit above Menhera, because despite Menhera-chan obviously being better than Mirai, that's basically it. Mirai has a lot more features and is actually public, so that helps out. Now we have MyDay GM. MyDay GM, a bit of an add-on bot for MyDay, so it can't go that high, and it's a bit dead just because it doesn't really have any incentive to play it, I feel like. There's not enough features there for it to be its own bot, really, but there's not enough incentive to use it with MyDay, so most people just don't bother, and I am included in that group. I also don't really bother with MyDay GM. But it's not a bad bot for sure. Its gameplay is fun, it just doesn't last very long. Once you've finished, you kind of finished, I feel like, is the point, and you could quite easily finish everything that there is in the bot in a couple of hours, so yeah, I don't know, MyDay GM, it's not really doing it for me. I'm going to put this in B tier here. We'll put it above Bot there, because at the end of the day it's a pretty nice game, and it's linked to MyDay, which is, we'll get to that in a minute. Next we have MyDay Trades. This one's here because it's funny. This is actually my bot, and it's garbage. If you have used this bot, then, I mean, first of all, congratulations, because, like, that's impressive, honestly. Using this bot at all without finding bugs is kind of difficult. I developed this over about a week, and it was pretty garbage, and I haven't really touched it since. I have legitimately used it a few times, but like being the creator, you'd kind of hope that I know how to use it. I'd be surprised if anyone else has used this legitimately. So for that reason, it'll go in D tier. It can go above Marriage Bot because at least it had a purpose, but that's about it really. MyDay Trades is garbage. Good luck using it without bots. Yeah. Next we have actual MyDay, and MyDay's a great bot. It has a very unique economy. It's not as unique as Karuta's, but it's actually really well made. It's really well balanced as well, and it is deceptively complex. Most people just assume, oh yeah, you get Karuta from reactions and then you get upgrades, and the amount of people that I see evidence in my YouTube comments thinking like that is pretty overwhelming, really. If you talk to someone and you say, yeah, I get 100,000 Kakarot per day, they're so confused. How do you do that? But I only get like 200 every 5 hours. What? This makes no sense. Because people completely underestimate the ability of MyDay's reactions. The whole reason for this tangent simply being that actually MyDay is deceptively complicated, and its economy is really, really good. I would describe it as an engine builder, which, if you know what that means, then cool. But an engine builder bot is honestly kind of impressive. Personally, I have a bit of bias for engine builder games. They're fun. But yeah, the fact that that can be made from basically an anime character collecting game is very impressive, and that's going to go straight up to S tier. Now the real question here is, does it go above Karuta or below Karuta? And honestly, I'm going to put it below Karuta, and that is for one reason only. You asked me last year, I would have said MyDay's better, but MyDay has not had an update in almost a year and a half now, whereas Karuta still gets updates, and that's the only reason. If MyDay started getting updates again, I'd put it above Karuta, because honestly I do prefer MyDay to Karuta. But it's a dead bot at this point. It hasn't had any major updates in ages. Like, periodically, Saya, the creator of the bot, says, oh look, we're having slash commands again, and that's about it. Yeah. Like, that's not even an update. Whereas Karuta gets updates, so props to them. Also, MyDay's, like, staff team could do with some work, not gonna lie. Anyway, next we have, this is representing the Moodle maids. I believe this is like Moodle maid 39 or something, which are all dead now. I just thought I'd shove them in here because why not? The Moodle maids are helper bots for MyDay, official helper bots for MyDay. They're all dead now, but they were to get around the API issues that MyDay was having. This is a really ingenious solution, in my opinion. Most bots, in fact, no bot that I've seen other than MyDay ever did that. Most bots completely ignored the solution, and it's quite ingenious. And honestly, despite the fact that this is literally just MyDay's extension, I'm going to put it in A tier, just because props to Saya for coming up with that, getting the API issues sorted out. Because while we had the Moodle mates, there was no problems with MyDay, despite it being probably the most spammy bot on the platform at that point. And that's really impressive. So yeah, good job, Moodle mates. Plus, because there were so many of them, you could pick whichever one you wanted. You could have any picture you like. I mean, technically, this picture is from a Moodle maid as well. This is like number 8 or something. You could pick your waifu and have it as a Moodle maid, and that is something that most bots can't do. You're basically picking MyDay's profile picture at this point for your server. It was amazing, and I loved it, and I'm sad that Discord shut it down, but some things have got to be like that. Next, we have Nadeko. This follows the same rules as Mantro, really, and for that purpose, I'm not going to talk about it too much. It used to be a really good bot, and it just hasn't really kept up with the curve. Other bots do its job better now. It's a bit of a general purpose bot, got a bit of an economy and game on the side. It's a bit and so for that reason, I'm going to put it with Mantro. I see it used less than Mantro, so I'm going to put it in B tier, just below Mantro, but it's worth noting that there are features that it has that other bots don't, so I would actually advise you add Nadeko more than I would advise you add Mantro to your server, because there are a few things that it has that is actually pretty nice. Legitimately, this is a good bot, and it is still a good bot, because there are features that it has that still haven't been added by other bots yet, and that's impressive. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't see it used as much as Mantro anymore, so there you go. Next we have Not So Bot and its weird profile picture. I mean, it's weird at the moment. You probably recognise its normal profile picture. I'm not sure if you recognise this one. This one is a fine bot. It's got a nice economy. It's got some use. I don't use it much personally, but I know a lot of people that do. So while I can't give a full opinion on it, it's got some really nice features, especially its image stuff. Its image stuff is really cool and quite funny sometimes. So I'm going to put that in A tier. I'm going to put it just here above those helper bots, because actually it is a really good bot, and while I don't use it much myself, I know that it's a good bot. Next we have NQN. NQN is honestly not a great idea for a bot, because it completely relies on being in a lot of servers and having a lot of users in order for it to progress at all, and I have no idea how it got to where it is today, because it sure did get to where it is today, and it's doing its job really well. This is actually kind of similar to a lot of Kaching's features, but it had some features that didn't rely on having a lot of members, whereas NQN doesn't. If you aren't aware, it basically allows you to send nitro emotes that it's got in other servers. I've made a video on about it recently, I believe. No, I haven't actually. I will do soon. I added it in my server recently, so that's fun. But yeah, I mean, it's undoubtedly a good bot. I don't know how it got to be a good bot. I don't understand why people added it to their servers when it first started out, but there's no denying that it managed it. And so for that reason, yeah, it can go up in A tier. I'm actually going to put it right below Carl there. That sounds good. Now we have Owabot. Owabot is, at one point it was my favourite bot, undoubtedly. But it's really gone downhill. It hasn't had any major updates in probably even longer than my its balancing could not be worse. Honestly, its balancing has been awful since about 2019, and the Scoot, the creator of the bot, just does nothing about it. The moderators do nothing about it, and everyone cheats. Honestly, like 80% of the players don't read the TOS or follow it, and it's pretty awful. Despite that, Owabot is still one of the best bots on Discord, and that's really saying something. So for that reason, I'm putting it right at the top of A tier, because it is a really good bot. I just wish it worked. Like, if the moderators of the bot actually did something about it, sorted out the cheaters and the alt users and the TOS breakers selling Discord Nitro on it and stuff, like, it would be a much better bot. They could fix the balancing on it with the gems and all the rest of it. Like, there's a lot of things that are broken about it. But at the end of the day, it's a really fun game, and despite its awful balance and its very easy abusability, it is a good bit of fun, and I would recommend you add it to your server. I just also recommend that you pester the moderating team to fix it, because, like, damn, it needs fixing. Next we have Pokecord. Now notice that we have original Pokecord, we have new Pokecord, and we also have Poke2 here. I've put them all separately. And there's a reason for that, I'll get to that. First we've got Pokecord. Pokecord is an amazing bot. Pokecord had a load of great features. It's really sad that it got shut down. If you aren't aware, this was a few years ago, and Pokecord got shut down simply because the creator of the bot was busy. I believe it was like a school student. I think he was about 15, something like that. So that's really impressive in itself, to get a bot that's that successful when you're so young. But yeah, basically the guy got busy with schoolwork and he couldn't keep up with it anymore, so he shut down the bot, and that's kind of sad. The only thing that I wish he'd done is released the code or the database before we'd done it, or maybe even sold them. To be honest, he probably could have sold them for a lot of money, so that the new bots that came in to take its place didn't have to do the job from scratch, because at the end of the day, neither of these bots are even half as good as Pokecord was. This, in my opinion, is one of the best bots on Discord, and will continue to be. And I wish it hadn't been shut down. I understand why it was shut down, and there's nothing you can do about that. But yeah, there is still features that original Pokecord has that neither of these two bots have yet, and it's been years. So this bot is going into S tier. I'll put it there below MyDay, because at the end of the day, it is a pretty simple bot. But yeah, it was really well made, and props to the guy that made it. Next we have new Pokecord. New Pokecord, as I said, is not as good as Pokecord was. It's been years, and they've had to rework the bot like twice already, and it's still not as good as Pokecord. They're still adding pretty basic features to it. And this is partly due to Discord messing them around with things like slash commands and making it a lot harder to have a big bot these days. So that's fair, but yeah, it's not as good as original Pokecord. And so I'm going to put it into A tier, but I'm going to put it at the bottom of A tier, because you know what, it's not as good as Pokecord originally was, and I don't think it ever will be. Poke2 actually has a lot more of the features, and it's honestly better than Pokecord, despite the fact that I use Pokecord instead. Poke2 is honestly better, so I'm going to give it slightly higher up, but not by much. We'll put it here, shall we? Oh, Pokecord there, Poke2. So yeah, that one's not as good as original Pokecord either, though. What have we got next? We have Reaction Bot, which is just another Owabot helper. So that goes along with Hacky Bot. Personally, I prefer Reaction Bot, but other than that, you've heard my opinion on Hacky Bot, so it can go there next to Hacky Bot, and it's just a little bit better. Now we have Rhythm and Rhythm 2. So these are the original music bots, and they were great. This was, I think, quite literally the biggest bot on Discord, and it got shut down, as I'm sure you're aware. But it was great, and purely the fact that there's 2 of them shows how good this idea was. As you can see, it's the same idea as the Moodle maids, adding quite literally another bot for a good purpose. And I know a lot of servers that had both of them, because at the end of the day, a rhythm or a music bot in general cannot be in more than one VC at once. So let's have a second one, and that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, rhythm was amazing, to be honest. Yeah, the question is, where do we put it? And honestly, I want to just put it at the top of A tier. It's a very simple bot at the end of the day, but it is by far the best music bot, so I'm going to put it here a little bit above the other ones. And then, you know what, I'm going to put Rhythm 2 above Rhythm, just because that was a good idea. They just went a step above what all the other music bots did, and that really says something. Now this one here, this is Sierra. The profile picture is not what it normally looks like, the same as Notsabot, so if you don't recognise it, then fair enough. I downloaded them earlier today, it just looks like that, okay? But this is Sierra bot, okay, which is a Pokecord, Poke2 helper bot, and honestly, it doesn't do a whole lot. You don't need a helper bot for Poke2. All it does is give hints on which Pokemon there is, which is a feature that was in original Pokecord anyway. And it also, I think, just tells you what the Pokemon is, so it is the epitome of ruining the fun, in my opinion. Now, to be fair, I think it also does other things, but, like, I don't really see the point in this bot. I don't really like it. So I'm putting this in C tier. I have it in my server because I was pestered into using it, and since I don't use Poke2 anyway, I figured, like, who cares? But yeah, I don't think Sierra is a good bot, particularly. I guess I would recommend using it if you use Poke2 and don't want to actually have the fun of catching Pokemon. But other than that, yeah, whatever. Next we have Tatsumaki, which again is one of the best general purpose bots. It has a lot of features, and I mean a lot, that other bots do not have. That on the side, it also has a huge game attachment in the Tatsugotchis, which is really cool, and I would advise adding this bot to every server that you're in, realistically. It does leveling the same as Me6, it does games almost as well as a dedicated game bot. It really just has everything. It's got like I say, a lot of features that most general purpose bots don't have, like reaction rolls and stuff. So yeah, honestly, this one is going into S tier. It can go here. It's not as good as Me6 in my opinion, but that's because I'm biased, so there you go. Next we have Toddbot. Toddbot is the same as Dadbot. That is all I'm going to say. It can go below Dadbot. It's a funny joke. We like Toddbot. Now we have Unbelievabot. Now Unbelievabot is a general purpose bot, I guess, but it also has a reasonably interesting game attached. Do you want to use it or not? I don't know, it's up to you really. I'm just going to pop it along with B tier and all the other general purpose bots. I'll split up these 2 music ones, shall I? Just pop it in there. It's a reasonable bot. If you want to try it out, then try it out. Similar to Epic RPG actually, but it also has the general purpose stuff, whereas Epic RPG doesn't, which is why I'm putting it above Epic RPG. So yeah, then we have YagPDB. YagPDB is a great bot. It does moderating stuff, it does reaction rolls, but there's a small problem. Half his features don't work. Not gonna lie, they just broke, and the developers never fixed them. And that's kind of depressing. Also, yeah, it's got moderating. It does it worse than like every moderating bot. So while YagPD as a bot I actually really like and I would recommend using it, I think it can be substituted by, you know, things like Tatsumaki and Dino, and they will just do the job better. So YagPDB, yeah, it's gone downhill a bit since half its features broke. I'm gonna pop it here. It's the top of B tier because it's a really good bot, but like, yeah, that's about it. Next we have Yggdrasil, which, yeah, I mean, it's one of those old bots, really. It's a bit of a general purpose one, but really it doesn't have a lot of features. The only feature it does have, really, as a redeeming quality, is its user phone. User phone is an amazing feature, and I'm really surprised that none of these other bots have it, at least not as far as I'm aware. I think a lot of bots should be adding Yggdrasil's user phone, because this is pretty much the only reason that people people use Yggdrasil still. So the fact that it came up with such a unique feature is pretty impressive, and purely because of that, I'm going to put it quite highly. But yeah, not too highly, because that is basically its only feature. I'm gonna put it here just below. I'll put it below Epic RPG. Actually, there you go, in B tier. Next we have Yui. Yui is a really good moderation bot. It can rival Dino, but that's about it really. I mean, it does have a few other features. It's got like a bit of an economy game and stuff like that. But it's just it's not quite a game really. It's just kind of a bit of an add-on. I would recommend using Yui if you want an addition to your moderating. It's got some really nice logs again that can rival Dinos. So I'm just going to put it a little bit below Dino, but given that Dino is the top of A tier, that's pretty impressive. Next we have Zapier. Zapier is just here basically because I use it. Like, honestly, that's about it. It can be used to make some really nice, like, what's even the word? Like, crosses between different platforms. I use it on my server to show, like, uploads and streams and ping for them. That's about it, really. But it can do a lot more than just that. It's got a lot of features, and it's honestly quite nice. It's a good bot. It does what it's meant to do, you know? But there's also a lot of bots that does what it does. So it's not insane. I'm going to put it here with Mirai. Just below Mirai. It doesn't have a great profile picture, I'm not going to lie. And it's also always offline, so it's impossible to actually find. But yeah, there you go. Lastly, we have 02bot. This is going to be a quick one because basically it's just another general purpose one. It's pretty much the same as Mirai. The question is, do you prefer 02 or Mirai? And I think it's undeniable that 02 at least is the more popular waifu, so we're going to put this one above Mirai. It's really well used as a bot. A lot of people use 02 in a lot of different servers, but that's about it really. It's just kind of there. It's got a lot of features, but usually they aren't as good as other bots' features, so yeah, that's about it. Anyway, there's your tier list. I was intending on adding like funny tiers for other bots when it was convenient for me, but I didn't really think about it. I guess we could have like a dad bot tier. You know what, let's do it, just because I was intending to do it anyway. There we go. Look at this. Dad. We'll put Dad in there and Todd bot as well. I think that's deserved. That's deserved. They can go in their own tier. But that's basically all of it. There we go. We'll zoom out a bit so you can actually see everything. Nice. That's all the bots. That's the tier list. We're done. Dad tier, obviously the superior tier of bots. But other than that, that is my opinion on all those cool bots. Did I miss any bots? Yes, absolutely. I missed loads. There's literally millions of them. Like, you could go make one and then complain it wasn't in the tier list. Like, easy. Yeah, that's worth mentioning. But I covered most of the popular ones, I think. If there's anything major that I missed, feel free to let me know. But, like, I'm not going to do anything about it if I did. So, like, cope, I guess. That's all there is to it. Anyway, yeah, that's my opinion on all those bots. Hopefully you enjoyed me ranting for, well, like half an hour, basically, even more than that, which is just dumb, but hey, whatever. And yeah, hopefully you completely agree with all of my opinions, because otherwise I'll ban you or something, I don't know. Ha 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 ha, funny. But that's about it. I think we can leave this one here. Bye!